Okay, so good morning. We were going to have Pat Geho here today. Due to some miscommunication, not on my behalf, he's not going to be here today. And I thought that I would actually come in and teach a presentation about branding. You know, we talked a little bit about branding when you all first came in. So let's talk a little bit more about branding. And I also wanted to make the point that as entrepreneurs, as college students, as people who live life, it's always important to be able to react to adversity, react to things that come up. A lot of times things are not going to go to plan, all right? And that's okay. It's all about, it's not what happens, it's not the plan, it's all about how you react to it, okay? And that is definitely my password on the screen. We'll be changing that after class. So, right, okay. So again, it's all about how you react to. It's all about how you react to things. Okay. So it's really important that, again, it's not what happens, it's how you react to it. So this morning, something happened. We had the class planned out. All was going to be good. I was going to go to my office, do a few things. That didn't work. Didn't stress me out. No worries. What can I do? Let's do a branding presentation. All right. So while we get this called up, let me tell you just a few things about branding. You know, you remember from the first day we talked a little bit about it. Do you all remember anything about branding? I know it was probably a little bit of a stressful event, and oh my gosh, what's going on? What's about to happen to me? But who remembers anything about branding? Yeah, it's feeling. Right. What else? Okay. Have you all ever had any classes talking about branding? I heard no? Yeah, tell us about it, Ray.
Well, I took like a philosophy course, and like it was branding more like towards yourself, and it's like how you present yourself, how you present your ideals, your morals, your ethics, like how you want people to see you, because people will see you.
Right.
And it's like, how are you going to present yourself in a way that will accurately depict what you're trying to present?
That is correct. So, you know, what Reagan said is critically important right now, especially. I mean, social media is all over the place, internet's all over the place. When you do something online, it never goes away, ever, 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 ever. It doesn't matter, you know, even if your security is locked down, even if Facebook's locked down, it's out there. It's on a server somewhere. It's actually on 10 different servers somewhere. And personal branding is critically important. Why do you all think that it's important for you all to brand yourself online? Any thoughts?
It's so easily accessed.
Yeah, it's so easily accessed. I saw a hand over here.
I was just gonna say, I mean, it's like you write that you want to assassinate the president, then nobody's gonna hire you.
That's exactly right. So I have in my professional career, I've probably hired over 100 people every single time that I get an application. I've seen hundreds, maybe even thousands of applications before. Every single time that I get one, first thing I do is I go out to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. I go and research the person because I want to know what type of person that I'm going to bring in, right? And it absolutely amazes me that people just don't understand what it really means when things go out online, right? Kai, talk to us.
Did you research us?
A little bit louder.
Did you research us?
To some extent. To some extent. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that, like I personally don't have any social media, so.
That's not a bad thing.
In that case.
It's not a bad thing at all. Sometimes you can't find people. Most of the time, people have stuff set as private, and that's great, right? For me, it doesn't really give me an insight of what this person is all about. But at the same time, it lets me know that at least they're thinking about these things, right? It absolutely amazes me that people still, in this day and age, social media is not new, absolutely amazes me that people will say anything and put anything out there, and they just don't understand that what kind of an impact that this actually creates. Sometimes it's even such that people just don't care, and I don't understand that. Everybody should care, but you all should set yourself to an even higher standard, right? Social media is not a bad thing. You can actually use it, like Reagan was talking about, you can actually use it for good, for your personal branding, right? Show all the awards that you've done, show your achievements, show nice pictures. There's nothing wrong with that, but you get off to college and you'll be learning and doing and experiencing and doing new things. It's really critically important never to forget that. And even if things are set as private, Facebook changes their privacy details all the time, right? So there's a lot of times you'll log in and they'll say, hey, we've updated the privacy statement, or we've updated this or that. Read it. It's very important. There could very well be some things in there that you need to know. For example, they may have some new permission sets, and by default, Facebook will go ahead and have them turned on, right? And some of I've had a situation where I don't put any bad pictures on my Facebook. I have a Facebook account. I don't really use it, but I've got a couple pictures up there. But they're only for like me and my family. And I had a situation a year or two ago where they changed some stuff, and all of a sudden there's my pictures, right? Again, nothing bad, but I didn't want them out there. So just be thinking about that. So this morning, if I can find it, we're going to talk about branding. There we go. So what you all are actually seeing here, is anybody in here using Office 365? A couple of y'all. What do y'all think about it?
Is one
I love it.
of
Very good.
innovative, easy to use.
Yep. Anybody, what do you think about it, Nick? Do you prefer Nick or Nicholas?
Either, honestly.
Okay, and same for me. Mike or Michael is fine, by the way, so whatever's easiest for you. But what do you think about it?
Once we bought it, because the way that it works is you can pay for you get so many licenses just for buying a certain account.
Right.
So my dad bought it, he pays the monthly $5 subscription or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And my sister uses it for college constantly, her boyfriend uses it, I use it, and my dad uses it, we all have it. And it's only $5 a month. It's wonderful.
Right. Yeah, it's great. Basically, if any of you all don't know what it is, it's essentially Microsoft Office online. So you can do Word online, you can do PowerPoint online, and you can do PowerPoint online as well, which is great. I actually created this as a proof of concept. I actually created this entire presentation online using 365. If you need, it's a cut down version of it, but if you need to actually have the full version, it'll actually work back and forth, which is really neat. So you can actually open it so you can see that you can edit the presentation, you can edit it online, or you can have the option to open it in PowerPoint and edit it. And from my understanding, I could be wrong, but I'm 98% sure that tomorrow when I give you all your student accounts, you all actually have access to 365, which is going to be great. So I would highly recommend. It's a really good way to collaborate and interact. So we'll talk about that more tomorrow. I'll double check and make sure that you all do have it. But anyhow, so you can see, there's PowerPoint. For the most part, it's full on PowerPoint. You can go in, you can create slides, you can do everything that you would normally do in PowerPoint. There's a few things that aren't in there. All in all, I really like it. It's got me out of a pinch too. And the great thing too is it's all up in the cloud, right? It's not sitting on your computer. You don't have to put in a flash drive, remember to bring the flash drive, and then email you email your team the latest revision, and then all of a sudden you've got 5 or 6 revisions out there, and oh my gosh, which one's the latest one? It's difficult to keep up with. Now you can have it all in the cloud, have one file that all of you all can collaboratively work on. Highly recommend you all looking into it. So anyhow, let's get into this presentation. But we'll talk more about that tomorrow. We'll start. Usually you just click that button right there and it works. Let's go back. My apologies, I just found out about 10 minutes ago that I was going to do this, so I would have had it set up otherwise. Okay, so branding, critically important, obviously, right? So we're going to talk about what is branding. This presentation is a presentation that I gave about 2 months ago for the Tennessee Small Business Development Centers. You were going to hear this morning from somebody from there. We're working on actively getting him back in here, but one of your mentors is actually going to be Jen D'Angelo, and she's the director here of the Tennessee Small Business Development Center. I do a lot of work with them, and they're a really good resource, so we're really happy to have Jen available. So this presentation is about building a brand. It is not about what best colors to use, how to design a logo, things of that nature. What it is it's intended to make you think about what's needed to actively build your brand before you jump into the creative part. It's intentionally designed to leave you with more questions than answers. Well, my goodness gracious, why would I leave you more questions than answers in a class when you're trying to learn? You'll see what I mean. A brand is not a logo. Whose logo is that?
Nike.
It doesn't say Nike. How'd you know that? Branding. The brand is not an identity or a package. It's part of it, but it's not the brand. Whose bottle is that?
Coca-Cola.
It doesn't say Coke. How'd you know? Branding. Catching on. A brand is not a product or a service. Maybe a fantastic product or service. I love McDonald's. But it's not the brand. A brand is not a mission or vision. Mission, very important. Vision, critical. Y'all talked about that yesterday, is that correct? Today. Okay, what'd you learn about mission and vision today? You can just shout it out, you don't have to raise your hand.
Like what you want to provide for like your business or your company.
Right, it's your statement, right? It shouldn't be very long, it should be very understandable.
Right, like 2 sentences or more.
Very good. Highly critical in your brand, it's not the brand. A brand is not promotions and marketing. I can't wait for y'all to learn about promotions and marketing. That's my area. I have a marketing degree, love promotions and marketing. You're going to learn about price, place, promotion, and product. That's known as the marketing mix. But it's not the brand. A brand is not catchy advertising, right? Even though you might have something kind of funny there. Anybody catching on to what that is?
Yeah.
Catchy. Stop and think about that for a moment. That is absolutely brilliant. Why is that brilliant? What is that bus? It's not a bus. What is that thing? Exactly. They come and pump your septic tank. Not a great topic. Not something that a lot of people want to talk about. A little taboo, make you kind of uncomfortable, but very important, right? Hopefully hopefully you'll never need these people to come. But if you own a house that has a septic tank, there is a very good chance that you're going to have that.
Yep, that's terrible. It's awful.
Right. It's terrible. Okay.
Sucks.
Yeah. All right. So really bad. Not fun. But think about this for a little bit. Can you name? All right. Not you because you were in the city. Anybody else had to have a septic tank truck come out to the house? Okay. Not you all, but everybody else. All right. Unless you've had. What was the name? Name me one company in your town that does septic stuff. Anybody know? If you saw this driving down the road, do you think that you would remember it?
Yes.
Absolutely. Stool bus, right? It's funny. Remember it. It makes light of a situation that's not very fun, right? It's also a good brand because you know exactly what they do. It gets your attention. It's got bright colors. Bright colors are not a brand, but all together, it is absolutely genius. So you saw that rolling down the road one day, kind of laughed at it, maybe stopped at a stop sign, have your passenger take a picture of it, send it out, something like that. Pretty funny, but it's absolutely genius. A brand is your customers' feelings and their perceptions about your business and how those feelings align with their values and expectations. Let's talk a moment about values and expectations. All right, so we talked about mission, we talked about vision. Well, your customers, you have to remember, you cannot survive as a business without customers, right? So your customers, they're all different. Every single person in here has different values. We all have different expectations. A lot of those are going to overlap, right? So let's talk about the septic bus just for a minute. what would your expectation about that bus be? Well, let's talk to the people that have had it out there. Tyler, tell me a little bit about what your parents' expectations probably were when they had the bus come.
Weren't looking forward to it.
Wasn't looking forward to it,
No.
but what were their expectations? There is one thing that they needed that truck to come and do.
Remove the,
Yeah, remove the situation at hand.
yeah.
And do it once.
And do it once and do it right.
Yeah.
That was expectations. If they did anything less than that, would your parents have been happy? Would you have been happy?
No, they had to dig up the ground.
Yeah, they had to dig up the ground. What, your experience, Eli? I mean, did they just come out, they fixed everything and they left, or did they mess up?
Well, they didn't mess up. The people who put it in our septic tank messed up.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So,
Okay. So,
They,
I'm glad you mentioned that. Tell us just a little bit more about that.
well, I guess there's like two parts. There's like a bigger section, like a smaller section,
Mhm.
and so I guess like the ways you have more of, so you go in the bigger section.
Right.
They hooked up the smaller part.
Right.
So, like our downstairs basement flooded because we'd only been in the house for a few years, but since it was messed up, and like it came like out of like the bathtub and stuff.
And we're not talking water here, are we?
Well, it's a little bit both.
So,
Terrible day.
so their expectations were not met. You had a very crappy situation on your hands, right? Very punny. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that their expectations were not met. They had to have somebody come out. They were not happy. You don't make or meet your customers' expectations, you're not going to have a good business. You're not going to have a good time. People are not going to come back. People are not going to tell other people about your business. Well, excuse me. They will tell people about your business. They will not tell them good things. Probably not going to recommend that septic company to anybody, right? So let's talk about values. We know about expectations. Well, what are values? What do we value? Does anybody tell me what a value is?
Something that you think highly of, about your beliefs.
Right. It's all about your beliefs. It's something that plays into your expectations, but it's on a higher order, right?
It helps you make your decisions.
It helps you make your decisions. What do you value, right? I'm going to buy this product or I'm not going to buy this product. Let's say, for example, I'm not going to buy a certain product because I know that they are not environmentally friendly, right? I value the environment, but I know that this company might have been caught in the past dumping stuff into streams, or maybe they're not known for their ethical nature. A lot of people, who in here uses a cell phone? All of us, pretty much, right? Do y'all know what? Do you know where those come from? Do you know where they're manufactured? Like Apple is in California, right? But they're made China, right? Well, there's a lot of people out there that actively want to boycott Apple products and other smartphone manufacturers because they all use factories in China. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having a factory in China, but a lot of people do believe, and I would certainly agree with them, that labor conditions are not regulated in China, right? It's not a good place. You ever heard, I'm pretty sure, I may say the wrong word here, but I think it's called Foxconn, is that correct? Yeah.
Right.
So Foxconn, again, I don't know if this is true or not, it's just what I've read in the news. But from what I understand is that they have such deplorable working conditions there that they have fences around the bottom of their factory. But these fences aren't up and down, these fences are horizontal. That's to keep the several people per day that try to kill themselves by jumping off of the building from hitting the ground and dying. So, anybody know that? News to you. So, how would you say, knowing that your values now line up with smartphone manufacturers? Probably shaking up just a little bit, right? So it's always important that you've got to align your values and customer expectations with what you give to the customer. Now, marketing, advertising, packaging, all of these things that we saw before, logos, color schemes, they're all methods in which you convey your brand. Branding is the emotional response a business evokes in a customer. Who likes chocolate? Why do you like chocolate?
It's delicious.
It's delicious.
It's sweet.
It's sweet. Does it make you feel good about yourself?
It releases
Sometimes.
Before you get it, probably, sometimes, right? But it triggers an emotional response. Is there a particular kind of chocolate that you like, or is it just,
White chocolate.
give me all the
Dark
chocolate?
chocolate.
No,
white
dark
chocolate.
chocolate like sea salt in it.
Okay, all right. And what'd you say?
And then you just specific brands, European chocolate.
European chocolate?
Swiss
Okay.
Chocolate and caramel.
Swiss chocolate?
Yes.
You said white chocolate?
Yes.
All
I
right.
love white chocolate.
Now,
Chocolate
is,
with like caramel.
okay, so is chocolate a good example here or not? Now, chocolate is a product that many people sell. Is there a specific brand of chocolate that you all like, or does it not matter?
Hershey's.
Hershey's. Perfect. Okay. All right, so everybody's got different brands that they like of their chocolate, right? But we know that the chocolate is going to trigger some kind of emotional response in us. Maybe we've had a bad day and we have a pickup, or maybe we've gone out and we've done really, really good and we're going to reward ourselves. Now, do you all, okay, so I heard several different brands in there. I heard Hershey's first, we have Ghirardelli, Dove, which one did you say? Toblerone. That's my personal favorite. I don't eat sweets. I'm a salty kind of person, but I do like Toblerones, right? Now, Toblerone is a perfect example here. They've got a really interesting package. What does the Toblerone package look like? It's a triangle, exactly, right? Do you have an emotional response to Toblerone? Like when you see a Toblerone, what do you think? I smile. You smile. That's an emotional response, right? You don't see the Toblerone, you don't frown, you don't kick it, you don't spit at it, right? So, branding is the emotional response a business evokes in a customer. What are all of you all going to do to evoke that emotional response?
Make your customer happy.
Make your customer happy. Exactly.
Oh yeah, I thought we were still talking
All of you all, when you're creating your business, how are you going to create that emotional response? What'd you say?
Make your customer happy.
Make your customer happy. It is that simple. What else are you going to do? Any ideas, Brianna? Is it Brianna or Brianna? Brianna. Any ideas? How are you going to make your customer happy? Or are you there yet? It's okay to say I'm not there yet. All right. Well, you'll get there, right? Very good.
You want them leaving, you want to leave them wanting more.
You want them leaving more,
You want
right?
a returning customer.
Absolutely. I'm glad you brought that up. Not exactly a part of branding, but you absolutely always want your customer coming back. It is critically important. You can always, it's so much cheaper to have return customers than going out and finding new customers. And I can see a couple hands up. Remember on Shark Tank, I know a lot of y'all like to watch Shark Tank. You know, Mr. Wonderful always talks about differentiation. What are you going to do to continue to have your, they don't like to invest in one-time seasonal type of products. All right, so I saw some hands. I'll start here.
You really want to catch their attention.
You want to catch their attention. How are you going to do that?
Paint those.
Yeah, marketing,
Yeah.
promotions, right? Reagan?
You want to cater to their needs. Like I know where I work, it's very like you take training to like make sure the customers are always like happy and satisfied, and you don't let them leave till they are satisfied.
Absolutely. Every single time. Doesn't matter what business you're in, service, product, anything. Always, always, always make your customers happy. Do we have some more?
Mine was the same as Reagan.
Okay.
Yeah, basically I was gonna say also like she said, meet their needs, but also be truthful about it. Like
Yes.
for instance, what's that? The one with Flo on it. Even
Yeah.
though they didn't have
Yeah.
the highest pay on one of the commercials.
Right.
But being truthful about
Yep.
it, people aren't gonna just drop you
Yep.
off the dike.
Exactly.
For it.
Values. We don't want to be lied to.
Right.
I think another important part is.
A little bit more. It's hard to hear over the projector.
Another important part is not just your customers, but keeping your employees coming back to you, because your employees make a brand for you.
If you don't have employees, you don't have a business. You might have a brand. A brand can exist. A brand can even exist in business that's gone out of business, right? Critically important for your employees to be happy. A brand is all of these things. A brand is the value. A brand is the vision, the personality, the attributes, the benefits. That's what that says. Kind of hard to see that. And your positioning. You're going to learn about all of these things individually. But all of these go into making the brand. Remember, the brand is not something that you can hold, smell, touch, taste. The product you can taste, the product you can hold. Your brand is the feeling. Remember, the brand is the emotional response in your customers. I will make this PowerPoint available to you all, by the way. And I'm also recording this, and I'll post that up too. Consistency of message and design. Always critically important. But you have to you must first understand or create your own brand before taking it to the design and the strategy stage. What in the world does that mean? What that means is, as you all are thinking about your product, your service, whatever it is that you're going to do, right? I'm sure you all are going to be thinking about making a poster, or maybe we're going to have a website. You know, what are we going to do to promote ourselves, right? You want to think about the brand before you ever get to that point. What is your brand? Remember, the marketing gets you there. The brand is a part of all of this together. So you want to think about, what is my brand? What is the feeling that I'm going to evoke in my customers? Then, once you have that answer, then you can go and create your marketing. Then you can go and create your color scheme, your advertising. This presentation is going to help you understand that journey. People often make decisions based on feelings instead of logic, particularly in the chocolate arena. But this is not necessarily a bad thing. Why not?
Because it's an instantaneous,
Yeah.
decision that you're making.
Exactly. So it's an instantaneous decision, but with those type of decisions probably comes some consequences. Maybe we made that snap decision, like, oh, that candy bar looked really good, but you know what? I shouldn't have spent the money. That was outside of my budget. Or I'm type 2 diabetic and I really shouldn't have chocolate, but I bought it anyways. That's my father, by the way. Right? But that's okay. He manages his type 2 diabetes quite well. He's barely on any medication anymore. Every once in a while, he can have a little bit of chocolate. But maybe somebody that doesn't manage theirs as well, maybe that's not a good decision for them. How many times have you bought something based on the way it made you feel? We talked about chocolate. What else? All right? Who here uses Apple products? Why did you buy them? Because it's an Apple product. It's not a bad thing, but you bought it because it's an Apple product. It looks good. Everybody else that's cool in Starbucks sitting around has one. Got to go with the crowd, right? Why would you pay 3 times as much for a third less of the technology? Branding. Because branding. Maybe we bought a new pair of shoes for the perfect outfit. How many times, ladies, how many times have we done that?
Every time.
Every time. Every time. I will admit, I love shoes. I have a lot of shoes. And I have bought them for the perfect outfit, and I understand. But you know what? Guys, pay attention here. A good pair of shoes will make you feel really good about yourself. They will make you walk tall. When you have to go into a boardroom and you got to present to 30 people, here's why I need your money. A pair of shoes makes the outfit. There's nothing like, ladies, back me up
Like a
here.
necklace or something.
Am I wrong?
Anything.
Back me up here, ladies.
No, it's you.
You got the nice suit, you got the outfit, you got the tie, everything's coordinated. Bam, worn out shoes, dirty, you got mud all over them. No.
But if it's a perfect pair of shoes, it's like, wow.
Perfect pair of shoes is like, wow.
Let the camera see the shoes.
As you will see,
Exactly.
as you will see,
Wendy Williams shoe cam.
what did you say?
The Wendy Williams show, you have a shoe cam, like every person that's on her show.
Okay.
She has a shoe cam, so she shows their shoes like.
Interesting. Anywhere outside of that, you probably go to jail, but very, very interesting. I'll have to check into that. We're talking about chocolate. So you get what I'm saying. You bought an Apple product because it's an Apple product. I bet you also probably bought Apple products because maybe you got a couple more, maybe you got an iPod or an iPhone, maybe a Mac computer. They all work together, right? I'm not saying it's bad to buy an Apple product. Don't get me wrong. but branding will make you pay more for something. What are some of the popular designer clothes right now? Like back when I was in high school, Tommy Hilfiger had just started.
Well, I bought one.
So before the camera turned off, I was saying I had 0 Tommy Hilfiger shirts. When I was in like 9th grade, I could not stand it. I wanted to have a Tommy Hilfiger polo. My parents would not buy one. $65 for a polo shirt? Absolutely not, Michael. We are not going to buy that for you. Now that I'm in my professional life, I can buy clothes to, I'd say I could buy everything I want. I can't. Obviously there's certain limitations, but if I really wanted a Tommy Hilfiger polo, I could go out there and I could buy one right now. I'm not going to. You know what? Because I have found that I can go to Belk and I can, I think it's a Saddlebred, I think is their company brand or whatever. $12 gets me the exact same polo. And I don't have to worry about having a little logo because I don't like the logos. Unless I'm wearing a director shirt, I don't really want a logo on my shirt. But that's just me. That's my value. That's my expectation, right? I'm not saying your shirt looks bad. It looks great. I like the color. I'm a big fan of blue, right? But it's all about a feeling. Why did you, okay, so it sounds like you've got several Tommy Hilfiger polos. Why have you continued to invest in them? Maybe they fit you well. Maybe you find them of a good quality. Any other reasons?
No, that's exactly
Right? So do you tend to go back? Are you brand loyal to Tommy Hilfiger? Most of the time. What are some other brands? We talked about Apple, we talked about Tommy Hilfiger. What are some other brands that we're brand loyal to? Michael Kors. Okay. How come?
I don't know, I just feel like it's a big fashion statement.
I understand. I have a lot of female friends that really like Ann Taylor, particularly Ann Taylor Loft. I guess you can get a lot of good deals. Do y'all ever shop there?
Yeah.
I don't either, but yeah.
I do.
Vans. Okay.
Nike. Like once you buy Nike shoes, like a lot of times you stick with Nike shoes because
Right.
you might not like the rubber shoes or they don't fit right.
Nike shoes don't fit me very well. I have very wide and flat feet, but a lot of other people, obviously, a lot of people love Nike. Nothing wrong with
The
Nike.
Asics people are a little too.
Asics people. I'm a Brooks guy. Love Brooks. Most comfortable shoes I've ever put on is because they fit my feet well. They line up with my expectations of what I want. The purpose of branding is to make you feel passionate before and after the sale. How many times have we bought something, we're really excited about it, we bought it, and then we felt bad about our decision? Yeah. Let's couple. Give me an example.
My car.
Your car.
Yeah.
What do you drive?
I'm F-150.
An F-150. Now you really wanted the F-150. Why did you want the F-150?
I just thought it looked cool and I thought it would be cool driving it.
Yeah. But now you're having buyer's remorse.
Yeah.
Why?
It was a lot of money. I felt really bad because my dad paid for it and I thought it was just a huge waste of money. Like I could have stuck with the car that he was driving before.
Right. But you didn't get to that until after you bought it. A lot of times we have things built up in our mind. So as you're making your brand, as you're answering the question, how do I make my customers feel? Think about before and after the sale, right? How could we mitigate some of the buyer's remorse?
If you have an
Or can you?
awesome, if you have an amazing product, like it can be expensive, but if it's like worth it.
Yep. If it's worth it, it's worth it, right?
Or if it's long lasting, like the
Yeah.
value of it, like if it's gonna,
Exactly.
I'm okay with buying a $200 something if it's gonna last me
Right.
to like 2 years.
Same here. Exactly. You could buy the $200 thing, it's gonna last you a couple of years versus you buy the $50 version of it, and in 2 years you've had to buy 3 or 4 of them. Well, where are you at? You're at the same exact place. I'm a Dodge Ram driver.
I actually like Ram.
I love Ram.
Dodge.
Fantastic. Ram is an awesome brand. We're actually going to talk about them right now.
Yes.
Building a brand. It's all about trust. We mentioned that earlier. It's all about trust. You got to trust the product. Your F-150, does it work good? Does it break down a lot? Or? Yeah. So you trust Ford, right? It's just the remorse that you have of having realized you paid, or your father paid a lot of money for it, and maybe it's a lot more that you have to pay for gas and all of that. But you trust the brand. Well, what is trust? Very simple. Trust is reliability plus delight. Delight. You like that? People should believe there is no alternative to your brand. Think about every single truck commercial you have ever seen. Right? Every truck commercial out there will always tell you that unless you're driving their truck, their brand, then you have made a horrible decision. You're going to break down out there unless you're in that Dodge Ram, you're in that Nissan Frontier. Right? But they're all the same. Well, how do you pick and choose? I drove a Silverado in high school. Well, how do you pick and choose? How do you communicate to your customer that your brand is the one that they're going to get the most trust, the most delight, the most reliability out of it? Differentiation. What is differentiation? How different in a customer's mind is your brand versus all the others? I'm going to give you two examples. Ford, Mercedes. Who's the better car company?
Mercedes.
Why?
Because they're high class,
Status symbol,
There you go.
right?
expensive, powerful.
What if I told you that Ford on average is more reliable than Mercedes?
I agree.
But it doesn't matter, does it? It's the feeling that it invokes. You drive up in that brand new Mercedes, it's all black, shiny, it's got the xenon lights on it and the LED running. One day I will have one. Yes, Corey.
Like for people to like look and say, oh, you're driving something.
Exactly. You have made it,
Yes.
right?
Or like, because like you don't see as many Mercedes out there as
Right.
Fords. Fords are
Yeah,
everywhere.
exactly.
Everybody can afford them.
Exactly.
That's like they're up to common people. Mercedes sells to more higher class, or if you have an income.
That's right.
greater.
That's right. It's a status symbol. It's differentiated, right? I'm no peasant. I don't drive a Ford. I drive a Benz. Right?
You know, I'm the same way.
It's very important to define your brand. Excuse me. It's very important to define your brand, or others will. Mercedes does a fantastic job of marketing themselves, differentiating themselves. Mercedes is coming out. They're not selling on price. Maybe the pre-owned. Every once in a while you'll see a commercial that'll say, yeah, you can get in a pre-owned Mercedes now for cheaper than ever. But on average, think of any Mercedes-Benz commercial you've ever seen. Did they ever tell you about how they're the cheapest car on the road? They will actively tell you, yeah, our cars cost up 100, 200 grand if you want to. Come on and buy one. You'll be the only cat on the block that's got one, right? You got to focus on your brand and your message. Again, people will define your brand for you unless you do it for them. And it's critically important that you always, always keep tabs on your brand, especially now in the day of social media. Very important. How do we do this? Well, first you want to start by committing to your core values. Talked about the mission and the vision. Your vision particularly talks about your values. It's projecting to your customers, your employees, your stakeholders, what it is that your brand is all about. It's also important to organize your messages. So we talked a little bit about how you're going to answer the question, how am I going to evoke this feeling in my customers, right? And then we're going to go to the creative side. What are we going to do? We're going to make posters, flyers, emails, websites, right? Critically important to organize all of those messages. So for example, like let's say that typically, any business that you can think of probably has a Facebook page, probably has a website, probably sends out, emails from time to time. All of those need to look the same, right? Your brand is not your color, but without your color scheme, you're not going to be able to communicate your brand. Let's say that one time, your website is kind of a red motif, but all the emails you send out are green. Is that going to line up? Is that going to make sense? Probably not, right? UT football, what color are they? Would it make any sense whatsoever if they came out in purple and gold one day? You wouldn't know who they were, right? You'd be like, what's LSU doing out here? I thought we were seeing a UT game. Makes no sense. It's also highly important, and this is what I really want to focus on. You got to convert your customers to loyalists and evangelists. You want people out there telling other people. You want them to do the selling for you, right? Differentiation. Again, humans are hardwired to notice what's different. What's different here? The dot. We noticed that. Our eyes went right to it. Why? Contrast. Right? Humans, blending in is not a strategy. Right? How is your brand better than all the rest? What I would recommend that you do, and don't do this right now, but in preparation for your brand, list 3 ways that you stand out from the competition. Don't list physical attributes about your product. Reminder, a brand is a feeling, not a product. So how are you going to stand out feeling-wise, emotional-wise in your customer base? What perception of your brand is better than all the others? Right? You're going to do some industry analysis, some market analysis. How is it that you're going to stand out? I'm not talking about we stand out because we have the best car out there. Mercedes is not saying that they have the best car out there. They're saying we are selling you a status symbol. Again, Mercedes versus Ford. We already went over that. So focus. You must first understand your business and its values inside and out. Ask yourself, who are you? What do you do? Why does it matter? The most important part. Why does it matter? You also got to focus on your customers. Who are your customers? What are their values? And what matters to them, right? It doesn't really matter what matters to us if we're not going to be able to sell it to anybody. How can you communicate that your brand meets their expectations for value and priorities? Got to get into marketing, right? But without being able to answer this question, how can we possibly go to the marketing stage? Again, I'll post this up for you all. Y'all are checking the Facebook site. Not a time. I'll just post it there. Is anybody unaware of the Facebook page, the Governor's School Facebook page? Everybody knows about it? All right, I'll post it there. Apple iPod. Who has one in here? An iPod? A few people. How many people have an iPhone? Okay, quite a bit more. Really no reason to have, if you have an iPhone, there's not really a reason to have an iPod, is there? Probably not.
If you, it takes up less space,
It takes up less space.
because then you don't have all your music.
Yeah, maybe charge a little bit longer. You don't have to worry about, the battery dying. But let's focus on the Apple iPod, or you could also say the iPhone in this case. When Apple, in 2001, when Apple was designing the iPod, right? Before 2001, we didn't have iPods. We had little, portable CD players and stuff like that, but there was not on the market what an iPod is. Apple absolutely changed the entire world with the introduction of the iPod. So when they were thinking about their branding, what did they have to ask themselves? Well, who are our customers? People who love music. Simple as that. What are the customer's values? Maureen?
I just want to go back to what you just said. There was a product called a Zune.
Yep, there was a Zune, and it sucked.
Yeah, no one liked it.
Yep.
It was the same thing, but it wasn't as good.
Right.
So no
Do you know who made Zune?
No, I don't.
Microsoft.
Really?
My buddy had one. It was terrible. It was heavy. It didn't work half the time. There was no good software for it, right? Apple changed the game. So they had to ask themselves, what are our customers' values? Our customers wanted instant gratification, and they wanted to enjoy endless music regardless of their location, right? I don't want to be stuck to this one CD, right? I can't go out running and have like 5 CDs strapped to my belt and change them out, right? Not going to work. Instant gratification. What do I mean by that? iTunes, right? Ooh, I really want that song. Done. Instant. Back when I was your all's age, I actually had to wait for CDs to come out. I had to get a ride to the store, and I had to save my money and go buy a CD. Man, it's awesome what we have now.
I'm just gonna admit, I really like record players and record sales. I have no problem with that.
There you go.
Like, honestly.
Yeah, try lugging your record player to a coffee shop one time.
I think
Actually, remember when I told y'all yesterday, or some of y'all, that I owned a music concert company in in college? Well, I did. If I didn't tell everybody, I did. I was actually a DJ, and I have hundreds of vinyl records sitting at my house. No. So, what are their customers' values? Instant gratification and to enjoy endless music regardless of location. How did they communicate these values? They said 1,000 songs in your pocket. Simple. One sentence. Tells you everything you need to know. You got 1,000 songs in your pocket. Now, this day and age, you can probably fit 10, 100,000, right? We got like 32, 64, 128 gig iPods. But they single-handedly created a new eponym. Does anybody know what an eponym is? It's right there in front of you. You can pretty much
It's
figure
like
it
a
out.
word that defines the whole type of product.
Exactly. It's a brand name that people commonly refer to the entire set of products. For example, Xerox, right? Kleenex. Kleenex is the biggest eponym ever. When was the last time you asked somebody for a Puffs? You didn't. You asked them for a Kleenex, right?
Band-Aid.
Band-Aid. Perfect. Yeah. Hey, I cut my finger. Anybody got a Curad? Band-Aid. Right. Coke. Here's the interesting thing. You ask for a Coke, right? It's not even their brand name. It's Coca-Cola. Who likes Coke? Who likes Pepsi over Coke?
Oh, over time.
Uh-huh.
I'm a Pepsi guy.
All right, so
Hey, when you go to a restaurant, like, would you like, you said you not have Coke, and would you like Pepsi?
is Pepsi okay? You never hear anybody ever say, we only have Coke. Is that okay? Never. Have that. Are you a waitress? Yeah. Do you have Pepsi people say it? Yeah. Well, if Pepsi's your thing, then sure. But it seems to be that just by a quick focus group here, it seems to be mostly people prefer Coke over Pepsi. And I wouldn't disagree with them because Coke is a far superior product over Pepsi. Sorry, Pepsi lovers, but it's a known fact, and we'll just have to know that. Why? I'm just messing with you a little bit. I like Coke. I don't drink coffee. I don't drink tea or anything like that. That's like Coke is my coffee. I absolutely love it. Right? Here's their original ad. Say hello to iPod. 1,000 songs in your pocket. Branding. Everything communicated right then and there. Leave your customers wanting more. They wanted more information to go find out about it, right? Here's a really interesting thing. That is 14 years old now. That's the very first iPod. Still looks like an iPod, doesn't it? Yeah, I mean, it's got the click wheel, the scroll wheel on it. I mean, it's not touch screen, but it looks like an iPod. Here's the other thing too. This is 14 years ago. Still an Apple ad, isn't it? Why?
The white background,
Fonts,
black
white
background.
background.
Exactly. They have completely articulated their brand, and they have kept up the consistency. When I talked about organization of messages, control over your brand, control over your design, Apples are the masters at it. So, who are these? Thank you, somebody, for finally getting that. Who are these people, right? I'm giving this presentation twice, and only one person has picked up on the reference. Thank you. I appreciate that. Give you a gold star on the board. So you got to ask yourself, who are your customers, right? Honestly isolate your customers. Be honest with yourself. Who can you honestly best serve and who not? You cannot serve everybody, period. End of story. It just isn't going to happen, right? You've got to target certain groups. What is your capacity? How many people can you feasibly serve? So then what you're going to do is you're going to divide them up by interests and needs. And then focus upon who you can serve best. A one-man website company does not have enough capacity to build and maintain an enterprise-level content management system. No, absolutely not. You just can't. You need a team of people for that. A one-man lawn mowing service can only mow so many acres per day. There's only physically so many acres that you can mow a day by virtue of how fast you can walk, how big your mower is, and how many hours of light there are in a day. There's just only so much you can do. Trust me, I've tried both and they almost killed me, right? I've owned lawn mowing service in the In the summers, I have done web pages on the side to supplement my income. I can handle 2 or 3 customers at a time. I don't do it anymore, but I can handle 2 or 3 customers at a time. But if I was to add 1 more customer, yeah, sure, it might be nice for me to be able to make another sale. But if I can't physically handle the workload that's going to bring, that something's got to give somewhere. What is your capacity? You've got to critically think about what your capacity is and be honest with yourself. What do your customers want? What are their values? We talked about this quite a bit. Excel at understanding what is important to your customers and discover what motivates, excites, and drives them. What motivates them to give you their hard-earned money? How are you going to excite them about it? How are you going to create that feeling? How do you tell them about it? How do you communicate your values? Well, that's up to you. The answer is the first 2 questions. Answer these first 2 questions, and that may become clear. You got to think past emails, posters, websites, and other advertising media. Those will all be used as mechanisms to deliver. But you got to focus on the message and the feeling after you have defined your brand. Obviously, these are all important things. But branding is about creating and disseminating a feeling. The core brand itself must first be established before it can be communicated across media. I think we've kind of talked about this quite a bit. Perfect example, Maybelline or any other cosmetics company is an excellent example. They're not selling makeup. That's their product. What are they selling? Beauty. What is beauty? It's a feeling. It makes you feel better about yourself, right? They use their message, their brand, to sell a better you, right? Also, while their media is different, their brand is always consistent. So you got to commit to this. Don't think about campaigning, right? We're not changing the core message to fit what you think your customers want to hear. Remember I told you that you have to define your brand or other people will? But you want to figure out how to commit, okay? Consistency in look and feel across media. But you're also adaptable to be able to produce a relevant message. Gold Bond. You may know what Gold Bond products are? They have powders and ointments and things like that. They were started over 100 years ago, and they're still the top in their game. Why? They've kept the same packaging, they've kept the same branding, but they've been able to adapt their messages, right? They get celebrities to endorse their products, right? Celebrity's not the brand. It's a message. It's a vehicle. You're laughing out here. What's up?
The Shaq commercials are just hilarious.
They are. They quite are. So Coca-Cola, polar bears, the color red, summer fun, Santa Claus are all parts of Coke, but they're not the brand. The core brand is promising a feeling of enjoyment. Think about the last time you went to the movie theaters. I think it depends on which one you go, but we have a Carmike here. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. The point is that they have a Coca-Cola advertisement to advertise their snack station, whatever you call it. Lost for words here. What do you call that? You go to get popcorn and all that.
Concession stand.
Concession stand. Thank you very much. It's a Coca-Cola. It's a Coca-Cola ad, but it's advertising their concession stand. Do y'all know the one I'm talking about? It starts out and the ice falls into the glass, and then you hear the tss of the Coke as it comes up, and then they stick the straw in, and you hear somebody drink it, and then they go, what do they do once they drink it? Man, I want a Coke right now. Branding. Branding. Let me skip over this slide. When I was talking about organization and messages, you all want it to be cohesive. You want to be able to look at it immediately and know what it is. This is just an example. That's not a real business. It's just something I found online. But go back to the example that I gave you about UT volunteers. Orange, right? Anything that you see about UT Knoxville, is there going to be any purple on that letterhead, any purple on that admissions advertisement? No. What color is it going to be? Branding. Your left and your right brain must work together. Creative is the right brain. Strategy is the left brain. Both must be in harmony. You can't have too much or too little of either. Great graphics are awesome, but unsuccessful strategy gets you nowhere, right? You know, if you have the best looking website in the world, but your strategy is terrible and you can't get it out there, is it any good? You like it, but nobody else saw it. You just wasted a bunch of money on a website unless your strategy's on point. Perhaps even worse, the inverse is true. You can have terrible graphics, awful looking graphics, just terrible, right? But you have a great strategy and you really get it out there. Is that a good thing? Maybe so, maybe not. People are getting your message, but then they're seeing, ooh, it doesn't really look too good. Let's say you're a graphic design agency, right? And you are so busy doing good stuff for your customers that you just don't really have time to work on your own personal website. What's that going to make your potential customers think when they're looking for, you know, you've started your business, you want a graphic design company to make good graphics where you go out and you look at their website and it looks really bad. Are you going to want to use them? No, of course not. Remember, it's a feeling, not a logo, not a website, not a color scheme, but you have to have both in harmony. If it looks like a duck and swims like a dog, people will distrust it. Yeah, it is so ugly.
I actually like the crocodile.
The crocodile is great.
They're all kind of cute. I would have a duck dog. I would. I think that'd be pretty cool.
I want a crocodile bird.
You want a crocodile bird?
Yeah.
What about duck elephant?
A little scary.
A little scary.
That's
It's like a
really
figure
freaky.
That's
If I ever saw that, I would run so far away.
If he ever saw it, he would run so far away. Think about that. A brand is a feeling, right? Make your customers trust you. You want to convert your customers to evangelists. Make them so happy they can't help but spread the word. How? That's up to you. You got to figure that out. Remember I told you at the beginning of the presentation we'll leave you with more questions than answers? That is up to you. How are you going to convert to evangelists? Example, Apple, fanboys. Everybody knows what a fanboy and a fangirl is, right?
Did you write this yourself?
Yes. Is that okay?
It's great.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, I did. What's a fanboy? Oh, we don't know what it is. Okay, don't say what it is. Who knows what a fanboy is? Okay, all right. Who doesn't know what a fanboy is? Okay, a couple people. All right, so for example, I'm going to set this up. Apple. Apple is not just a product. In many cases, their products are inferior to other companies. Sorry, fanboys, fangirls, it's true. They're inferior, but it's the brand, right? We already established that, Tyler. So to say that to a fanboy other than Tyler, you will never hear the end of it. What is a fanboy? A fanboy is an evangelist of Apple, and they are the nastiest of the nasty. Joseph's shaking his head up and down. Yep. Apple products are a fashion statement. So, just in case you all didn't know what a fanboy is, here's how to spot one. Overall defensive demeanor, shaking fist towards the non-believers. Massive list of reasons why consumers don't know what they want and why Steve Jobs does. Rest his soul. You'd think he's still alive.
Empty wallet.
The empty, yes, you like that? That's fair. Empty wallet. Fanboys. Fanboy, you want to create fanboys and fangirls. That's what you got to get. How are you going to get there? That's the question. Think about the new Apple Watch. Anybody have Apple Watch in here? Did you all see the post the other day where one of the billionaires in China, his kid has a pet husky, and the pet husky wears 2 gold Apple Watches?
Oh my God. Why? What? Just why?
That's actually pretty cool.
Because he can.
Yeah.
Because he can.
It's like the $10,000
Right.
watch.
It is a 10,000. It's the gold one too, and he has 2 of them.
Edition.
2 of them.
But if you roll
Yeah,
up with
for
your
real.
husky, you have 2 gold watches on your husky.
Yeah, on your Husky. They can't even
The
use
husky
it.
just goes like rubs around in the dirt somewhere. Like,
This is a high class husky.
Probably a
Yeah.
you don't want
Willing to-
Huskies are better.
Willing to go out on a limb, that Husky's probably never gonna see dirt in his life.
That's the problem.
But it's all about branding.
The husky is like better than
That may be a little stupidity, but branding. Think about the new Apple Watch. Its battery won't last. What y'all are going to see very soon is Wi-Fi charging. I'm extremely excited about Wi-Fi charging.
Whoever
Yeah, and I mean,
came up with that
IKEA just
idea.
released its furniture that you just set it down on the table and it charges.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Somebody come out, either come out with a better battery that lasts a month, a week, a year. How about this? You're going to learn this afternoon about entrepreneurial mindset. Why do we even have to have a battery? It's what we've always known. How about we come up with something different? Something that doesn't need a battery. Why not? Truth, revisited. We're almost done, by the way. We must be truthful with ourselves. We are so involved in our own brands, we can become blind to what really needs to happen. And your perception versus the reality of your brand is your biggest threat. I will say that again. Your perception versus the reality is your biggest threat. Yes, Abby?
So, since you already brought it up, what do you know about Wi-Fi charging?
Not have time for it this morning, other than I know it's going to be awesome. And it's going to change things.
How soon do you know?
Cannot be soon enough. Hey, come on in, Lex. So, next steps. You're just starting out. How can I possibly apply this? My gosh, I'm here at Governor School for 4 weeks and I'm making this business. How am I going to create a brand? Well, you have that ability. You do have that ability. As mentioned, you can organize and commit, but you have to first create and then control the message. You got to start at square one. As you grow, the core message will still be the same, but you can also adapt your message to your current situation. You might find out, this first week, oh, we're going to do this, and we're really all about it. You create your brand, you know how you're going to evoke the message, or evoke those feelings, but then next week you learn something, maybe in your business experience course, maybe information technology, maybe Mr. Coldblazer says something. Maybe you're out running around having a good time, doing some activities with Sam, light bulb goes off, oh, we got to change this. You got to be able to adapt. Establishing the core message early is always best. For example, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Get that taken care of first, everything else will fall right into place. That's actually, I gave this to a group of actual business owners. But basically what I was telling them is to do themselves a favor and hire a professional, because a lot of times people just really want to cut costs and corners and want to design stuff themselves. Doesn't really wind up looking good because they're not graphic designers, right? There's a reason that professionals out there, and I basically say that that you and your customers deserve better. Forgot that line was in there. Do yourself a favor and hire a professional. Again, you're not going to go out and hire a professional, but it might not be a bad idea to think about what it is that you would do to communicate to a professional. I'm going to skip over there. So seriously, hire a professional. It's a good thing. Do it. It brought down the house when I gave that, by the way. They really enjoyed it. I'm going to skip over those. So, we're coming up on time now. Questions. We've learned about branding. What are our questions?
What materials can you provide us?
What materials can I provide you? In what manner? What do you mean? Give me some context.
For, I guess maybe like in 2 weeks, we're first going to be showing our brand and reviewing it, I guess. Like if we want certain physical materials to present.
Right.
Can we come to you for that?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Here's what the question was: what materials can we provide to you all for presentation? Here's the thing. Obviously within limits, but think creatively. What engineering usually does, engineering has poster shows. And they will basically, they'll print out a couple 11 by 17 posters and they'll affix them to a cardboard. Easy enough. You all can use the computers in the library. You can use Photoshop, you can use Illustrator if you want. Or maybe there's something even better that you can do. Think creatively. Come and talk to me individually about that. I'm going to challenge you. Poster's fine. There's nothing wrong with poster. If a poster communicates your brand, your message, and your image to your customers, that's the way, then do it. Why would you do anything else? But maybe there's something more creative that you can do. And I will challenge you all to come up with something creative. Other questions? Yes, Nick.
As far as like marketing and branding are concerned, is it true, like I've heard this, for like my whole life, is it true that no publicity is like bad publicity, or can?
I think bad publicity is better than no publicity.
Yeah, so that kind of,
No publicity is bad publicity.
yeah.
Right. I would say that, yes, absolutely. But at the same time too, I think that what you want to focus on is the good publicity, obviously. Other questions? We good? All right, so branding, definitely think about it. Go ahead and stop this. So what we're going to do now is